The number one reason as to why people get stuck building a property portfolio. 95% of investors only have one investment property. It's just not going to cut it. You need to build a portfolio. But in order to purchase those properties, you need to understand how the banks lend money. If you don't understand how the banks lend money or what type of properties are going to help you build a portfolio, you're going to hit a brick wall. I'll show you what happens. Most investors live in our major capital cities. They feel comfortable buying locally, so they might purchase in that city. But the prices are so expensive and the rental yields are so low. They might buy a property that has rental yields of as little as 3%, which means it doesn't cover all the costs of owning the property. The property has negative cash flows, which means you've got to put money in the property. So what do you think happens when you go to the bank and you want to borrow money for the second property? The bank's going to look at your situation and go, well, that first investment property you have is costing you money. It's a liability. So it's going to reduce your borrowing capacity. You may have bought your first property about 800,000. You go to get the second property. You don't realize this, but the borrowing capacity is dropped. The bank's told you you can only afford 600. So you go out and buy something for 600. Then you go to get your third property, but now your borrowing capacity is down around 400,000. You're stuck. You can't move forward. No, you made a mistake. You should have got professional advice. Had you come to us with Alliance Corp, we would explain to you that buying certain types of properties can boost your borrowing capacity and negative cash flow properties will bring down your borrowing capacity. We would have said, no problems. We can get that $800,000 investment property, but we're going to target properties of high rental yields. We're going to target properties that have neutral cash flows so that when we go to borrow your next property, your borrowing capacity won't change much. And even if it comes down a little bit, it means that maybe on property number 3, we target a cash flow positive property to bring it back up again. So my point is the types of properties and the cash flows that those properties generate influence how much money the bank's going to borrow you in the future to continue to build your portfolio. So if you continue to focus on properties that have significant negative cash flows, even though the capital growth might be good, you're not going to be able to continue to build a big portfolio over time. You've got to manage the cash flows on the property, also with the capital gains that can be generated. So you can get to property number 2, property number 3, property number 4, property number 5, and have the portfolio pay for itself. So your borrowing capacity is critical. It's not just about which is the best location, which location is going to get me the best capital growth. That's important for wealth creation, but if you don't have the right cash flows, you're never even going to get the money from the banks to invest in those locations to begin with. So you need to start with a finance strategy.